the things that are not so great. Now, first and foremost, you have to recognize that no matter how much experience you have in your home country, if you're coming from Jamaica like myself, somewhere else in the Caribbean, if you're coming from South Asia, Eastern Asia, if you're coming from other parts of the world, it doesn't matter where. Once you get to Canada, please recognize and understand you're starting over. So have that mindset and know you have to start over. Yes, immigrants bring a lot of experience, skills, all of that kind of stuff, but it's a start over. And you might say, oh, why? After such a big announcement by the government, and you apply out of your country for your status and you get here as a permanent resident, how is it that I come into a country now and I cannot find a job that is related to my experience? That's the truth, guys. It's a start over. There is a very small percentage, and I can't name the percentage because I don't have the research information for that. But I can tell you that if I speak to 10 people, maybe 1 out of every 10 or 0 out of the 10 will tell you that after coming into Canada, they have found work related to their experience. Meaning, outside of Canada, you worked as a pharmacist, you were an accountant, you were in human resources, you were in IT, you were in finance, you were in admin, whatever. It is a challenge to get a job into the same field. Now, there is a disconnect. The government markets and accepts you with your credentials because you do have to do an educational credential assessment to even start a profile for applying for permanent residence. And you also do a language assessment. And I'll put the links here in the video to the previous videos where I talked about that stuff. You'll have to do all of that. But upon landing in Canada, the same experience that you got points for, the same education you get points for from the government, an employer does not recognize it. We don't know why, it's still a thing, but most employers in Canada will say to newcomers that you don't have any Canadian experience. Before I can hire you, really consider your application, you need to get some Canadian experience. Then how do people get Canadian experience when if you were working in accounting or finance and then you come here and no one wants to hire you, you take what we call a survival job, meaning you work in a factory or a warehouse, or you work in a restaurant as a server or something to get by, as it's called, a survival job, to get by to pay your bills. Then how can you get Canadian experience? So that brings me to my point. If you plan to come to Canada, please have a positive mindset. Understand that even though you may be starting over, you have the skills necessary. Have a positive mindset. It will take some time. You have to believe in yourself. You have to remain positive. You have to be confident. And it will take time. There are only a few persons who can say they came and within 3 months or within less than a year, they were able to get a job right into their relevant field that they studied or worked in. Majority of immigrants come and have a challenging time. Myself, I have. So from previous videos, if you watched, I came as a student. From a student, I started looking for work. in my field of study, didn't find that. I did survival jobs too, jobs that probably I thought I would not have even done, jobs I never even did in Jamaica. But starting over, knowing what you want, having an outlook, you do what you have to do to survive. And that is why having a positive mindset, knowing what you're about, having a support system, whether you have family here or family back home you can rely on, that's important. But first and foremost, you have to learn to depend on yourself. You have to learn to talk positive to yourself. You have to be determined. If you have no determination, it doesn't make sense you pack up, leave your country for whatever reason, and come to Canada. Because if you don't have the determination, you won't survive here. It nah go happen, as we would say in Jamaican term. So, starting over is one thing. That's not such a great part of the migrant story, but it is something that we do. Secondly, finding a career, and as I mentioned, getting back into the area you want to can be a challenge. So my recommendation is that when you get here, to start gaining some Canadian work experience, is that you find opportunities to volunteer. Also, look for organizations that are aligned with helping newcomers, and look for employment services that are funded by the government. These organizations offer training as well as they help job seekers to find employment. And for the most part, there's no registration fee. There's nothing that you have to pay. They have a meeting with you. They gather some information, have an understanding of your background, your education, what you're looking for. And once they connect with you and help to coach you, like help to get your resume looking like what it should be in a Canadian style resume, and I'll do another video soon about that. Then once they help you with all of those things, the employers that they're working with, they will then help to get you employed. Once a Canadian employer can see you doing something, whether it's volunteering, whether it is doing a program, getting some additional training, then it will definitely help. So that's the next thing. So you have to think carefully about your career path and make the next steps necessary. Now, if you come and you enter school, then while you are in school, look for organizations that are typically recruiting companies. They will find you opportunities that you can work your 20 hours on your study permit with and be able to help to support yourself. There's also a change that has been made too, where the government is going to remove that limit of 20 hours per week and allow international students to work more than the 20 hours, up to 40 hours per se. International students have it really tough, and the reason for this is that they pay at least 3 times more than what a permanent resident, a citizen, someone who has status in Canada would pay for education. So my advice for international students when you come, seek out the student center at your school, find out about opportunities that they might have for work, because most schools will hire students. There might be an opportunity to work in the library, within the admissions office, somewhere within the school. So seek that out and look for companies that you can find opportunities to work with. You can check like Randstad, Office Team, Kelly. Those are some of the top ones that are coming to my mind. But once you find recruiting companies, even though you're an international student, because you will have a valid work permit along with that, they can find you opportunities that are part-time or within the hours that you are allowed to work, number of hours you are allowed to work and help you to find employment. Now, the next thing is expanding your network and connecting with people are very, very important. So if you realize what I'm doing, even though I'm stating the not so great things, I'm telling you ways to try to overcome them. So when you are here, to be honest, especially if you don't have family, and even if you have family here, but it's not your immediate family, it's far cousins, it may be uncles, aunts that you never really were close to or know, and your primary family that you're close to is outside of Canada, you can sometimes feel disconnected. A lot of immigrants too, single persons, come here on their own, their family is back home too. My advice for you is, yes, you're here alone, but you can find a support system. Connect with people who are similar to you, meaning new immigrants. There are social activities that you can look for and search for in terms of events. Go out, network with people, meet new people, and meet people within Canada who can help to support you. So find a mentor. Find someone who has been through the process before and can help to guide you. Or find someone who is even a Canadian citizen born here but who is very helpful and able to help to show you some of the things that you can do. Very, very important. So even though the not so great, the truth about it is that you have to start over. In most cases, you do not find a job relevant to your career or your related experience. Even though if you go into school, the fees are really expensive for you if you come as an international student, as a newcomer. Even though you can feel very disconnected because you miss home, you don't feel like you have a support system, these are obstacles that you can overcome. And I have to point this one out, not so great, but bear in mind that some of you are from countries where you do not know what discrimination is. You've never experienced it. In the country that I am from, Jamaica, we are out of many one people. There's Chinese, there's Japanese, there's black, white, but we don't really know what discrimination is, so to speak, because we don't discriminate against others based on the color of your skin. Even though we have rules and laws and within the workplace, employers are not allowed to discriminate, it still happens. You're not supposed to discriminate on people's age, ethnicity, their color, but it still happens. So bear that in mind, that it could be something that happens to you, but you just need to know yourself and you'll be able to cope with it. So that's why I say finding a mentor is very important. I realize that the video is getting longer and I'm gonna kind of close it off and round it up. But those are the not so great things. And one last thing I'll mention, over time when you are here, if you are a single person like myself, owning a home can be very difficult. But where there is a will, there is a way. So I would say when you get here as a newcomer, as so long as it is possible, as long as you have the strength to and the willingness to, if you can find 2 jobs, if you can work 2 jobs, do that. One to pay the expenses, one to save. Because if you remain single, if you don't have another hand to meet and clap with you, if you don't have a wealth of resources that you brought with you from your home country, meaning assets and a lot of money, having a home or purchasing a home in Canada is very challenging. However, where there's a will, there is a way. So I'm just letting you know the truth of it, that even sometimes it might seem that, okay, you get settled into a job now, you're looking towards owning a home. That next thing is going to become a challenge, and you'll have to find ways to cope and go through it. And in most cases, finding a second job, having another source of income is the only way to be able to achieve and get in to that goal. Or if you partner with someone, like you find a husband, or if there's a trusted friend you can do it with, then you can try to buy a home together, and then after a while sell it and both get their equity out of it, and then you can go and buy something on your own. But that's a video for another time, where I will talk about what are some of the things that you can actually do to build your credit, because Canada is built on that. Even if you have money and you don't have good credit, can't get anywhere. And I mean, even if you have money, where did the money come from? Okay, if you get what I mean. But thanks for listening so far, and I hope that you have really learned from some of the things that I'm saying. And I'm going to round it up by reminding you that while Canada offers a lot of great opportunities, and I welcome everyone who has the ability and the skills and the resources to try to migrate to Canada to do so, but while doing so, understand it's not an easy road, okay? There are things, challenges that will come your way, and if you are not a determined person, if you're not positive minded, if you have low self-confidence, some of these challenges will fling you literally off your feet. But if you know what you're about, if you have the patience to get to where you want to, you will. A lot of persons have come here, and because they've not been able to continue their career in their field, and they've had to just take a survival job to feed their family, they continue to do that to feed their family. After a while, they never get back to what they really wanted to do. Some people get depressed. A lot of things happen. But I hope by watching this video, you understand and realize that there's another side to the coin. But with those things, there are things that you can do to get through them. So, welcome to Canada. And if you need more advice, leave in the comment section. My Instagram information is on my YouTube page. Reach out to me. I'll do my best to answer any questions. Free of charge. I'm an immigrant. I've been through this, and I hope to use my story to really help others, because I was one of those persons that, I mean, after a few months, the excitement of getting here kind of dwindled, because I started to really see the light. Yes. And why I say I started to see the light is because how it's marketed. You all know and you see with anything that is marketed, advertisements on TV, whatever the case, things are done to really catch you. But the government makes it sound all great and nice, but then when you get here and you try to get a job, an employer says, you have no Canadian experience. That's the discord, but we hope that in future, there will be something done by the government to help employers really look at the fact that people coming outside of Canada from other countries have really valuable experience, and a lot of the things that they are requiring or asking for can actually be learned on the job. So thanks for watching. Remember, your dreams are possible, and I look forward to the other videos. I'm gonna keep them coming. I did take a little bit of a break, but I'm back and I'm signing off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.